Hey everyone, it's Mafalda and this is my June TBR. So in June, I'm once again going for a very ambitious TBR, which maybe I shouldn't because I'm only going to be on summer break on June 15th, and for the first 2 weeks of the month, I'm going to be working on my final assignments for school. So because of that, I shouldn't put like 10 books on my TBR, but I did just that because I couldn't control myself. And I'm also super excited to say that I'm going to be participating in the Whatever-You-Want-a-Thon that is hosted by Mary from Book Browsing Blog. And I am super excited to participate because I feel like readathons are becoming a little bit too specific for me and it's hard to participate in one, but like the title of the readathon says, this is the Whatever-You-Want-a-Thon, so you can read whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. The only condition really of the readathon is that you have to join a team and then you have to read books, obviously, to make points for your team to win at the end of the month. And I'm joining the team Camp Contemporary because I love contemporaries, but even though I'm on Camp Contemporary, I don't need to only read contemporaries. It's really like the title says, you can read whatever you want, but obviously if you read certain types of books, you get more points for that. So obviously because June is Pride Month, if you read queer books, any type of queer books, you get more points for that. So I have made the perfect TBR. I'm not really sure how many points I'm going for, but I think I'm going for like 2,000 something points, and I have 10 books on my TBR, so let's get started. Also, if you want to participate in the Whatever-You-Want-a-Thon, I will leave all of the useful links down below and also the announcement video. So the first book that I'm going to be reading in the month of June is actually a reread because recently I did a video on my channel where I talked about all of the series that I wanted to reread, and I asked you guys to comment below what series you think I should reread first, and the one that got the most votes was the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. So I'm going to be reading Cinder in June, and I'm actually going to be buddy reading this one with Pedro from the Bookstagram Tent Livro. I will leave his Bookstagram down below, and yeah, we're going to be reading one book a month. So we're going to start with Cinder in June, and then we're going to read Scarlet in July, Cress in August, and September we're going to read Winter, and we're going to finish the series. So yeah, super excited to read this one. And if you don't know what the series talks about, this is a sci-fi dystopian series, and basically each book of the series follows a different character. In this one we're following Cress.
Wait a minute, hold on.
And this one specifically is a retelling of Cinderella. And yeah, I guess that's all you need to know. It's a great series. I haven't read it in like, I don't even know, like 7 years or something. So I'm super excited to finally reread this one and start in June. Now the next book that I'm going to be reading in June is one that I've been saving for June. Ever since I got it, I was just like, I need to read this one in June. And so I've been saving it even though I want to read this one so bad. And it's Felix Ever After by Casein Calendar. This is a very beloved book here on BookTube, and I can't believe I still haven't read it, but like I said, I bought this one and I was like, I'm gonna save it for June, and that's what I did. And this book obviously follows Felix, and he's black, queer, and transgender, and he wants to fall in love, but he has never had the opportunity. But then one day he starts getting transphobic threats and messages in his locker, and he wants to get back at that person, but that, I think, makes him do some like catfishing. I am not really sure, but I have heard amazing things about this book. I am so ready to finally read it and love it. Probably this is definitely a 5-star prediction for me, so I'm really excited to finally pick it up in June. Then the next book that I'm going to be picking up in June is the Falling in Love Montage by Sierra Smith, and this is also a contemporary book, and it follows our main character Sersha, who is trying to get over her ex during the summer, but then that summer she meets Ruby, who is a very optimistic person and she's a rom-com fan, but Sersha doesn't really want to get into another relationship so fast, so Ruby proposes to her that they try a summer romance, but only with the good parts in it, so a rom-com falling in love montage. And yeah, this just sounds like the cute, fun, and summery read that I need right now. Honestly, I want to read this one after I finish school because I feel like it's going to prepare me for the summer. And I've also heard a lot of great things about this one, so I'm excited to finally read it. Now, the next book that I'm going to be reading in June is Queer Intentions, A Personal Journey Through LGBTQ+ Culture by Amelia Abraham. And this is a non-fiction book about queer culture, and what I am so interested about this one is that this one doesn't only focus on Western LGBTQ+ culture, it also talks about the queer culture in non-Western countries, and I think that's so important. And I love reading nonfiction books, so I thought this was a good one to read during Pride Month, and I'm super excited to get into it. Now, the next book that I'm going to be picking up in June has nothing to do with Pride Month, but I will explain in a second why I'm reading this one, and it's Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. This is the second book in the Sight trilogy, and I am buddy reading this one with my boyfriend, and I have been meaning to continue with the series since I read the first one almost a year ago, so I thought I would read the second one now. And also I will show you in a second why I'm reading this one as well. And the series is about a dystopian world where people don't die from natural causes anymore, and so there are these people called the Sight to control the population and kill people because people don't die anymore. And the first book follows Rowan and Citra, who are training to be Sight. And yeah, this is the second book in the series. I am super excited to continue with this one, and I really hope it doesn't disappoint me because I've heard a lot of mixed things about this one and the third one in the series, but I'm really hoping I will like this one as much as I did the first one. Now, the next book that I'm going to be reading in June is Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. I've been meaning to read this one for so long because I know that this has bi representation in it, so super excited about that. And this book follows Millie, who has just discovered that her sort of girlfriend, sort of best friend has been with other people, and she's not really happy about that, and so she decides to go to a boarding school in Scotland. And then her roommate there is called Flora, and then Millie discovers that Flora is actually the princess of Scotland, and at first I think they hate each other, and then it kind of turns into a romance, so it's haters to lovers, and I'm so here for it. And also set in Scotland. I don't think I've ever read any books set in Scotland, not really sure, but I'm super excited to get into this one. Now, the next book that I plan on reading in June is Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. And this book follows Simone, who is in high school and she has friends and she's directing this school musical and she's having a great time, but at the same time she's HIV positive, and the last time that she told someone, I think it didn't go so well, so she's really afraid of other people finding out about her status. And then one day she starts receiving anonymous threats saying that they'll tell everyone at the school about her status, and she starts getting really afraid. I'm super intrigued about this one because of the HIV representation, but also because the main character is actually asexual, so super ready for it. The next book that I'm going to be reading in June is our 20-something book club pick for the month of June, and it's On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. And this is a fiction book, and it is written in letter format, and it's about a son writing a letter to his mother, but his mother is Vietnamese and she can't read the letter because the letter is in English. And I just think this is going to be a super fascinating and emotional read. I've heard also great things about it, so super ready to read this one in the 20-something book club. Now, the next book that I'm going to be reading, I'm actually super ashamed of putting this one on my TBR because I put this one in my June TBR from last year and I didn't read it, and I still haven't read it, so I'm going to be finally reading The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. I didn't get to it last year, so hopefully this year will be the year. And this is a historical fiction book set in the Norwegian island of Vardo, and it is set in the 1600s. And this book is about a storm that once hit the island and killed all the men that were at sea, and then basically the island turned into a place of only women because all of the men died in that storm. And the only thing I know is that it's gay and it's historical fiction, and that's the only thing I need to know, to be honest. So super excited to read this one, and yeah. And now the last book that I'm going to be reading in June is actually a book also like Felix Ever After I've been saving for June because Pride Month. So it's Loveless by Oseman, and I can't believe I still haven't read this one. And this book follows Georgia, who has never been in love and never been in a relationship, and then she gets to university and she makes a plan to start experimenting and trying to find love, but then she realizes that she's asexual and aromantic, and I'm here for the representation, and I've heard a lot of great things about this book from aromantic asexual people, so I'm really excited to read this one. I can't believe I still haven't read it. So yeah, June is the month. And now the reason why I picked Thunderhead for my TBR, even though apart from Cinder it's the only non-LGBTQ plus book that I have on my TBR, is because I made a rainbow spine situation because I'm a nerd, and Thunderhead was literally the only green spine that I had, so I was like, I'm just gonna read it. So basically I am really proud of the spine. I really like it and I think it fits with Pride Month. And I guess I could put Cinder up here because of the red shoe. So in the month of June I'm going to be reading Cinder by Marissa Meyer, Felix Ever After by Casein, The Falling in Love Montage by Sierra Smith, Queer Intentions by Amelia Abraham, Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman, Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins, Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, The Mercies by Kieran, Millwood Hargrave, and Loveless by Oseman. And my arm is getting super tired, so I'm gonna drop the books now. But yeah, I'm going to be participating in the Whatever-You-Want-a-Thon. I will leave all of the links down below. I'm going to be participating in the Camp Contemporary theme, and I'm going to be making tons of points if I finish all of these books, because a lot of these books double up on a lot of prompts. So I'm super happy with this TBR, super ready for June, even though for half of the month I'm going to be working on school stuff, but the second half of the month I'm going to be completely free, and I'm so ready to just read and enjoy my time. And yeah, finally summer vacation. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Also let me know down below if you're participating in the Whatever-You-Want-a-Thon, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!